Hi, I'm Jody Brandstetter, lead instructor for By Design Brainery, and I am so excited that you've said yes to using the candidate persona. This is a three-in-one sourcing tool that can help you be a better recruiter. I wanted to take a few moments and share a little bit more about the persona to help you be successful with using it. So let's talk a little bit about the candidate persona and the sourcing strategy. Just quickly to tell you a little bit about me, I'm Jody Brandstetter. I've been a recruiter for 20 years. I am a design thinker. I love design thinking methodology for HR and talent acquisition because it focuses on the person as well as the business, which is exactly what we do when we're in human resources. I live in the suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio. I have a beautiful 7-year-old daughter named Lena, and we are huge UC Bearcat fans. We have created By Design Brainery, which is an online course and community for HR and talent professionals who are looking to find new ways to do their job and to make our industry even better. So we're going to talk about first, what is a candidate persona? Why should you create a candidate persona? How to use the template, and then how to use the candidate persona in your sourcing strategy. So what is a candidate persona? It's kind of like an avatar. You are looking at who is your ideal candidate and really getting to understand them. You're also going to be locating them. So where do they hang out online? Where do they do their professional development? What do they do outside of work? Where did they go to school? What associations are they in? And then you're going to learn how to engage with them. So what's the best way to reach out to them either online or through that association? And from there, you select your sourcing strategy. So what do you want to use from the brainstorming that you've done? Why use a candidate persona? Well, I wouldn't use it all the time. I use it really for two reasons. I use it for those hard to fill purple squirrel unicorn positions where I know it's going to take a lot of sourcing, a lot of reaching out to find the right candidate, because this is going to help me hone my search in the right way. The other time I will use a candidate persona is with those high volume recruiting efforts. So if I'm hiring the same position over and over and over again, I will use a candidate persona to help me think outside the box, be creative with my sourcing efforts, and make sure I do have a diverse sourcing strategy so that I am looking for my candidates everywhere I can. So the first piece we talked about is understanding your candidate. So important to know your candidate. And that's all about empathy, observation, interview, and then creating the persona. Empathy is putting yourself in their shoes, understanding their perspective. Why are they motivated to look for a new opportunity? What type of company, what type of position are they going to be attracted to? Really trying to learn what is inside the candidate. And then that's going to help you with making sure you're reaching out to the right candidates for the right positions and that you know the type of information you should be providing them. You never want to give the whole kitchen sink when you're talking to a candidate about an opportunity. You want to provide the information that's going to help them make a good sound decision on this role. So understanding them is huge. And some of that's going to be through your phone interview or through your Zoom interview or through your in-person interview, where you get to sit with them, talk to them. You can observe their body language. You can see what interests them, what doesn't. So a lot of times you're going to get a lot of good information by just talking to your candidates. And so this part can be hard if it's a brand new position for you. But you can, definitely try your best, and you might be making some assumptions, but you'll be tweaking it throughout the time when you're looking for those candidates. All right, so the candidate persona, there's three sections that you're focused on. Defining your ideal candidate, that includes the motivators, but also includes what they're bringing to the table, what their background and experience looks like. Then it's the locate the ideal candidate. And there's, three areas that I focus on when I'm thinking about locating a candidate. One is online. So what do they do online? Where do they play online? Where do they learn online? Where do they get their news online? What social media do they use? Then there's schools. What colleges, universities, trade schools, high schools, what are, different places that you can reach out to there? If you take it to a second level, it's what associations, what organizations, what alumni groups. And then you can even think about sporting events. So really, how does someone stay in connection with the school throughout their career? And then the last one's grassroots, which is everything outside of schools and online. So this could be networking, it could be referrals, it could be past candidates, it could be, job fairs, really anything outside of online and schools kind of gets put into the grassroots section. And then once you know where they're at, well, how do you engage them? Like with, for example, LinkedIn, there's a lot of different ways you can engage. You can connect with them, you can message them, you can email them, you can comment on their post, you can join groups that they're in and comment there or post. So, what's going to be the best way for you to engage with them on either these different platforms, these school or grassroots efforts? And from there, you're going to decide which areas do you want to focus on? So if we take LinkedIn again, is it I'm going to focus on connecting and putting a message in my connection. And I'm going to try that for a week and see how it works. And then the other thing, which I love too, is when you're defining that ideal candidate, you're getting your sourcing strings, you're getting the words you should use. So it's really a powerful tool. I'm really excited. So let's kind of look at it now. So this is what a candidate persona can look like. This one has been done through a Miro board. I've made it easy for you, and I've created a spreadsheet version so that you don't have to go into brand new technology. But this one's prettier, so I like using it in my presentations. This section here is the motivators. So, why is this person looking for a new position? Why would they want this role? And why would they want to work for this company? So, this is really going to help you kind of understand the whys when you're talking to your candidates. It's also going to help you with understanding maybe some of the rebuttals you might have to overcome. So, again, it's kind of really kind of getting into their mind and trying to understand kind of the psychology part of recruiting. The white section here is what they're bringing to the table. So, what types of job titles have they used in the past? A lot of times, there's a career path. So you might start as a project coordinator, then a project manager, then a product manager. So they might have all three titles on their resume. So you might want to write them all three down as options. What companies? This could be just industry specific or actual companies. So you can do financial services, or you can go right into Fifth Third Bank, JP Morgan Chase. So this kind of gives you an understanding of what companies they've worked in the past, education, certifications, and then what experience skills are they bringing in. So this could be literally technology to soft skills. And this is where, my friends, you get your sourcing strings from. So now you have all these wonderful words that you can use either together or separate to be able to do your sourcing, which is really powerful. And then you retain this and you can use it again and again, or you can tweak it. So it's a great way to kind of store opportunities of sourcing strings for the future as well. Now, where do you find them, right? Online, school, grassroots. I would take 1 or 2 minutes to brainstorm and come up with as many ideas as you can possibly think of for all three sections. And then from there, I would brainstorm and look at what I put on the locate ideal candidate section and think about, okay, if I'm using Facebook, what are the ways I can engage on Facebook? What are the ways I can engage on LinkedIn? What are the ways that I can engage on Indeed? So, just kind of taking the time to figure out all those different touch points that you can have within all three areas. Now, those ways to engage aren't always going to be the best ideas, and that is okay because now you're going to look at the strategy. So, what are the ones that you're going to actually implement? I always joke that I do a lot of sales recruiting, and one thing I can do under grassroots is go to the local bar where they are having a happy hour and either sit there and chat with them, have a shirt on that says I'm now hiring sales, or I can actually advertise in the bathroom stall. Now, I may not feel comfortable advertising in the bathroom stall, or maybe my company doesn't feel comfortable. I may not feel comfortable wearing a shirt saying now hiring salespeople, but I might feel comfortable with hanging out at the bar and chit chatting. So I might have all three of those under ways to engage, but I might only pick the one where I just go hang out during happy hour. So take these amazing ideas and just pick maybe one or two and implement those into your sourcing strategy. Let's look at an example. So here's one that I created for a technical sales rep. I like to name my persona. And so here I have those motivating pieces. I have all of, I filled out each and every one of these. And then here are 3 to 4 strategies that I implemented for each one of these. This was a position where we were hiring in bulk, so high volume recruiting. So I definitely needed a lot of strategies to be able to, hit my goals as a recruiter and be able to fill the needs of my client. If this was a purple squirrel, I might only have one in each, or I might only have a couple in two. So again, it's really, up to you how many you want to actually use. But the goal is for you to actually use them. Best practices. So if we think about the candidate persona, some great best practices are being open, using your brainstorming hat, being willing to think outside of the box, using this over and over again. Do not use it once and throw it away. Hold on to it. You can use it again. And if one strategy doesn't work, go back to it and come up with the next one. So it really should be a working document for you that you're always using whenever you have that position available and open. Now, sourcing strategy includes your sourcing plan, which you get from the actual candidate persona. But this also, the strategy should have your funnel. So, what are your goals? How many candidates do you need? How many phone interviews? What's the time frame? Do they have a specific time they want this person to start? And you have to kind of work back to figure out when, you should post that position. KPIs, these are your metrics. What are the goals that you have? And then there's also a tracker that you can use that will help you with seeing if there's a return on investment with your sourcing plan. So here again is an example of a sourcing strategy. The one I provide is in Excel. This is also in Miro, which makes it look pretty. But you have your funnel, you have your KPI goals, and then you have your strategies. Again, I like to have diversity in my strategies. So I want to try maybe a little of each just to make sure I'm really kind of reaching out to find that candidate. But with that diversity of strategy, if you use your candidate persona, you're really focused on honing in on that ideal candidate. So even though you're broadening your horizons with strategy, it is hopefully going to attract the right candidate to you. And this is what the tracker looks like. So you can literally track based off of your strategies that you came up with your persona. And then you can see how did you engage, who was the candidate, and status. So if this was LinkedIn connection, Joe Schmo, did Joe Schmo actually accept your connection? Was there a cost associated with this, and was their return on investment. So when you're looking at your sourcing strategy, when I talk about goals, a lot of times people think, oh, I don't want to tell my manager these goals, or I don't want to tell my salesperson or my hiring manager that my goal is to get 3 candidates to them, because I may not. And these goals are your goals. These are for you. These do not have to go to anybody else. You can hold on to these really tightly and have them as your goals. I'm sure your manager has goals for you already. So you're already kind of in that goal metric area. So these are yours for yourself. I find that if I have goals that I set, I'm more interested in obtaining them and hitting them than if someone gives me goals. And I think sometimes I know myself better than my manager. And so I know it's going to take me maybe more reach out or more phone interviews to land that candidate or to get that candidate to the hiring manager. So just remember that when I'm providing these type of tools to you, these can be your tools that you use, and you don't have to share what you're doing with them. It's to help you be more successful as a recruiter. So thank you so much for hanging out with me and learning more about the candidate persona. I would love to hear if it's working for you, if you've had any aha moments or successes. If you're interested in learning about our online courses for HR and talent acquisition, you can go to learnbydesignbrainery.com. And if you don't already have your candidate persona, you can just go to my website, jodybranstetter.com/candidate. And if you didn't get the sourcing strategy and tracker, that's also on my website, jodybranstetter.com/sourcing. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and happy recruiting.